Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. Esperanza Spalding right there. My goodness, what a talent. What a talent she is. I Can't Help It, the tune from Radio Music Society. It is 10:22 on a Saturday morning here. Gary and Kelly coming to you from the Norman P. Murray Community Center. I am personally really, really excited to have this woman sitting with us. Please say hello to Mama Lynn Gissing, and I'll explain. I would presume if you have listened to this program or followed along with us that you recall a little over a year ago, Kelly missed a show because she was off in Africa. And Mama Lynn here is the reason that she was over there. And we're thrilled to continue this. And I'm sure you probably recall when Kelly came back, very emotional, you know, the story that and the stuff that happened to her. Let's see if we can make her cry right now. Let's see if we can make her cry right now. But it's a remarkable story, and we've got she has a book out that is just terrific. A Light in Africa, and thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. It's so nice to meet you. Let's try and make Kelly cry. You want to? Shall we do it? Shall we do it?
I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way I am. Tell us the story how you came to go to Africa. It's remarkable. It's unbelievable.
It's mind-blowing.
It is. It really is.
Yes. I've been on this extraordinary journey. It started in 1999 when I was just walking down a street in the UK where I live.
You were a normal housewife?
A normal housewife. My profession had been a social worker with the deaf, an interpreter. And then, after eroding a disc in my neck, I fostered children with severe behavioural problems. I did that for many years. And then, when the children went, I made the decision I'm going to sell my house and move to the country. 3 days after the board went up, my house was sold. And what happened then, I was just walking down the street one day, and all of a sudden, I heard this voice in my head say, "Go to Africa." Where did that come from? Totally ignored it. And then I walked down the street further, and then this voice in my head said, "Go to Africa." Wow! Am I being set up by candid camera or something? I'm thinking about going to the butcher shop, buying pork pies, pork sausages, or pork chops. So best walk quickly into the main centre where there's people. So I hurry along the path and I get into the main street. And then all of a sudden, I am glued to the floor. I cannot move. My feet will not move. And so I'm now panic struck. Am I having a stroke? Everything else is moving except my feet. So I tried to move again. I can't move. And then this voice in my head said, "Go into that travel agency and book a ticket to Africa." Wow. To the left of me is a travel agency. I can't believe it. Is this God speaking to me? Me? I've been to churches for 40-odd years, only as a congregation member. I've had no theological training, no nothing. And so I tried to move my feet again. They won't move. So I am so freaked out. What is happening? People are passing me by on either side, and they're staring at me as I'm going past. And I'm really frightened. I've heard this voice twice in my head say, "Go to Africa." Now it's telling me to go into this travel agency and book a ticket to Africa. So lots of other stuff happened while I'm stood there on that street, but in the end, my feet was released. I went into the travel agency and I sat down in a chair, and this nice smiley lady said to me, "Yes, madam. How may I help you?" And I said, "I would like to go to Africa, please." Her next comment was, Yes, madam. Africa's a very large continent. Where exactly would you like to go? So this smiley lady is looking at me, and I'm screaming in my head, God, where am I going? And the only thing that came into my mind was that I had been corresponding with a pastor in a place called Moshi in Tanzania, East Africa. So I say to this lady, take me to the nearest airport to a place called Moshi in Tanzania. Well, madam, I have a 1-month ticket going. It's very cheap. Would you like me to book it now? And I say, yes, please. I fill all the stuff out. 10 minutes later, the door closes behind me, and then I have a reality hit. Oh my goodness, what is my family going to say? Well, they had quite a lot to say, actually.
Let me keep going.
Just
Let me help
this
you a little
mic.
bit. I'm going to just
Just
help you a
like
little
that.
bit. We're having a little thing
Yes,
going on here.
Yes.
This will be mo better.
So now she's booked her ticket, and she's going home to tell her family that she's going to Africa. And
They were, they reacted quite strongly, actually. Like, are you crazy, woman? You know, you can't go by yourself. Let me cancel this. You can't do it. It's dangerous. You can't do it. You've done some stupid things in your time, but this one takes the biscuits. So
Takes the biscuits. I love that.
So, but the trip that you booked, though, was a round-trip ticket. You were just going over there to see.
I was just going to see.
Right, okay.
Did God tell me to go to Africa?
Okay.
So in 1999, I caught the plane, landed in Tanzania, and that is when God showed me what he wanted me to do.
Okay.
So I aligned myself with an NGO, and the
NGO
is a non-government organization.
Yeah, it's like our nonprofits, a 501c3 here in the United States. But in Africa and in European countries, they call them NGOs.
Yes. And so I went out with this organization, and I saw all these children, so many of these children. They looked so sick, they looked so ill, and you have to remember at this time, AIDS was pandemic, and there was no antiretrovirals at that time in the country, and children and adults were dying like flies. And so I was with this social worker, a local social worker, who I made this question, and which changed my life. I said, what is going to happen to all these children? There's just so many of them. And they all look so sick and so ill. And what she told me was, a percentage of these children will die of malnutrition because there is no one who will feed them. Another percentage will die of opportunist infections because their parents have already died of the virus. The third percentage which will die is they could be saved, but there will be nobody who will buy them the drugs which will save their lives, as, for instance, malaria. There will be no anti-malaria drugs which can be given to them.
And it's pennies. It's
We
pennies.
are talking
Yeah.
20 cents,
Yeah, crazy.
which would
Just
save
crazy.
a child's life.
Let's, I want to,
Okay,
so
so
this can go on.
We could go on
Yeah, it's
forever and
crazy.
talk about all the things that are happening over there. But how I met Mama Lynn was I was covering an event for another paper, and I was listening to this gentleman introduce her, and I was just enthralled with this story. And I had to meet her. I had to get to know her. So I came up to her and said, "My name's Kelly Bennett. How do you do? Who does your PR? We need to get this out into the world." So we met and had a wonderful conversation. She told me stories after stories after stories that were just heartbreaking, but miracles that has happened since she's been in Africa. And I said, "Mama Lynn, you need to write a book. You really need to write a book." So she invited me to come over to Africa
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have nails and makeup and hair. What, you want me to go? No, I'm not going.
What kind of heels do you wear in Africa?
So my first day there, I did break a nail, but that's okay. And I was actually part of
The consulate wasn't all that concerned about that, apparently, either. It's
No,
surprising.
I was fine. I was going to take them off anyway. But when I was there, I was able to participate in a rescue, so to speak, for twins.
Look at this little
And
face.
this child right here, can I say her name? Or just can I call her
No,
Princess?
no.
I call her Princess.
Yes.
Because she is a princess, and she has a twin brother named Prince. And I was able to participate in rescuing these 6-week-old twins away from their abusive parents who were, she was a prostitute and an alcoholic, and I don't know if she was into drugs or anything.
And she has the virus.
Yes, and she had the virus, and she basically didn't want these children, and she told Mama Lynn and the people there that they were going to kill them. They left them in their hut for days at a time without any food and no diaper, and I was just like, oh, give me these kids right now. Give them to me. So Mama Lynn brought them into Light in Africa, where she has over
Faces. Look at those little faces.
259 children that she cares for on a daily basis.
When I left,
When you left, you got more now? Have more come in?
That's so
So, but this was 14 years ago. Fast forward, I mean, these kids are
Yes.
growing, and I'm financially fostering these two, where I give them money every month to help with their care and their love and their medical needs, everything, and this is them now. So that was my experience going there, and there are a ton of volunteers that come from all over the world to come down and visit Light in Africa and do medical outreaches.
yes.
Talk about, real quick, all the things that you offer in your program.
Okay, so from the time I was impacted to go to Tanzania, I sold everything that I owned, and in 2000 I moved to Tanzania permanently. And in this last 14 years, what has happened? We have 259 children in full-time care. 53 of those children are carrying the virus because no other children's homes will take them. We have a disability unit where we take children who would normally be locked away and left to die. And all our children are doing so well. We have outreach programs into the bush. And over these 14 years, 510,000 people have received free medical treatment and drugs.
Pretty amazing, huh? Isn't that crazy?
But that's not all. There's more.
Over the last 14 years, over 2 million meals have been served to our children and to a food kitchen we operate in a mining town, which is so brutal place to live. And so there are a lot of street children, and so every 5 days we operate a food kitchen, which has saved many children's lives.
Mm-hmm. And so all these stories have culminated into a book that Mama Lynn had wrote on my suggestion.
Yes,
She was,
indeed.
Kelly, I wrote the book, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now what do we do? So we got it published, and it's an amazing book for those of you who want to know more
And
about
all the funds are going to support the,
Yes.
the operation.
And it's an amazing organization for those of you who want to volunteer. Go over to Africa. It's a lot of fun. It's a safe environment. I mean, the money that you give goes to these kids. It's not...
The book is available on Amazon.
Book is available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble. Mama Lynn is going to be here signing some. She brought some for some people. If you want to purchase a book today, you may do so. But lightinafrica.org is their website. Did I forget anything? Oh, do we have time for a
Do you
story?
have a time?
No.
Okay, we got to get going.
But it's in the book, so buy the book.
It's in the book, so buy
See?
the book. Yeah, see, there you go.
Hello,
There you
buy
go.
the book.
So lightenafrica.org is their website. I want to thank you so much for coming
great
out
stuff.
here. Love you so much, my
Good
darling.
stuff.
Bless you.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you,
so much.
darling.
All right.
Can I go?
We've got music from Michael Paul, and then we're going to come back and cook here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly. Stick around.